Hello everyone and welcome back to The Barrel and the second last installment in our series where we analyse each AFL club's 2024 fixture, identify some breakout players and set a realistic passing mark for their season. And today we have the West Coast Eagles. Now, after one of the worst seasons in living memory, the Eagles have very little to be optimistic about, you would think, but plenty of their young stars did show a little bit throughout the season, and with more experience under the belt, there's a real question of if they have enough to finally win some games. So that's the question we'll be answering today. So sit back, relax, and enjoy as we quickly recap their 2023 and see what 2024 holds for them.
In 2023, the Eagles finished 18th on the ladder with 3 wins and 20 losses. As I say, it was one of the worst seasons in living memory. They beat the Giants in round 2 somehow, but didn't get another win until round 20. They also surprisingly beat the Western Bulldogs at Marvel Stadium in round 23, which derailed the Dogs' season, so that was a positive aspect. Many said they were compromising the league with how bad they were, and with Coleman medal favourites kicking 10 plus on them each week, so playing the Eagles was a bit of a buffer in that respect. They also lost by 171 points to the Swans, where in that same match, the Swans scored 205 points. They had 5 100-point losses throughout the year, and overall, it was just a very grim season for the Eagles, and it's hard to imagine them getting much worse. Their 2024 fixture was ranked the 3rd easiest. They have 1 bye in round 14. They have 12 games at Optus Stadium, and they only visit the MCG once to play the Ds. They go to Marvel 4 times, but with no primetime games in the first 15 rounds of the floating schedule, they face the prospect of having no Thursday or Friday night match for the first time since 2002, and they also travel to Hobart for the first time in 6 years. With respect to double-ups, they play Essendon, Fremantle, Gold Coast, Melbourne, North Melbourne and St Kilda twice, so that's 1 top 6 team, 2 middle 6 teams and 3 bottom 6 teams. There's no really outstanding sides in there. Essendon and Fremantle are pretty much on the same page. They both had disappointing years and they want to be better than where they are. They made some moves into the off-season, so it's a bit of a wait and see to see where that corresponds to in terms of a ladder position. Gold Coast are very much on the up. They've got a fantastic list, did some great work in the draft, and have Damien Hardwick as their new coach, who's one of the best coaches of the modern era. So they'll be looking to climb up the ladder. Many are tipping them to make the 8, so that's 2 tough matches for the Eagles. Melbourne are probably the best side of this bunch. They've had sustained success for a long period of time now and always find themselves in at the top 4, so those are 2 tough matches as well. North Melbourne are more on West Coast level. They're coming off disappointing years and are both looking to climb up the ladder. However, I do think North Melbourne slightly edge the Eagles in terms of upside. I just think they have a stronger list and a stronger coach. That goes a long way into performing on field. And finally, St Kilda, who had a very successful season last year with Ross Lyon returning. They made the finals and are looking to do so again. And as a very consistent side that they are, there's 2 tough matches coming up there as well. Overall, I'd say this is a pretty fair fixture. As I mentioned before, they don't play any outstanding sides twice. Maybe the Ds are a slight exception to that. However, we're not quite sure yet how their off-field drama with Clayton Oliver and the cultural issues in the club will translate onto their on-field success this year. They get a fair few amount of home games against some stronger sides at Optus Stadium. However, a negative aspect of this fixture is the majority of the Eagles games being on a Sunday. Obviously, the fans love primetime games and Saturday games, so having quite a few Sunday games would be a demoralising part of an otherwise well-balanced fixture. For some breakout players, I've listed 3 based on what I saw last year. Number 1, Elijah Hewitt was one of the exciting aspects about the Eagles last year. Hewitt's an electric midfielder who's got plenty of speed with his ability to break away from the stoppage. With some experience under his belt now, I expect him to take even more risks and turn him into a young star of the competition. Number 2, Ruben Jinbi, an absolute bull for someone so young. He has a body far beyond his years and played quite a bit of mid-time in his debut year. I liken him to a Clayton Oliver type player and can definitely see him reaching that caliber with the potential he showed in his debut year. And he'll definitely get more opportunity in the middle now with the departure of Luke Shuey. And finally, Campbell Chesser. To be honest, he seemed a bit lost sometimes to begin his career, became good as time went on. He showed some promise on the wing, and after playing 14 games, should have more confidence at AFL level. He is a bit injury prone, so if he can overcome that, he can definitely be a shining light of this West Coast side. For a passing mark, given how bad their past 2 years have been and how experienced Warriors have been retiring, I'd dampen my expectations on the Eagles heading into 2024. However, I do think that their young crop adds a bit of unpredictability to their side. And for a passing mark, I'd give them the challenge of staying out of the bottom two. They are easily one of the biggest clubs in the AFL, and to see them at the bottom is a shame. So as a general footy fan myself, it would be nice to see them get on the board more in 2024. Their backline is led by the ever-reliable Tom Barrass and Jeremy McGovern. McGovern's had a bit of injury problems the last couple of years, so he'll be looking to overcome that as well. Elliot Yeo, Tom Cole, Duggan, Hunt, they're all relatively experienced, so I'd expect their backline to hold up quite well, although we do know how many large scores they conceded last year, so they'll be looking to improve in that aspect. Alex Witherden, I think, can be quite solid for them if he gets the opportunity down back. He's shown a bit in the games he has played. Jermaine Jones is another speedy one who could come off half back potentially if Yo goes down. However, I do think that their backline is quite experienced relative to the rest of the field, and if they can stay healthy, there is a lot of talent still left down there. Their midfield still has some class as well. Tim Kelly, Dom Sheed, Jinbi. Gaff likely gets pushed out onto the wing. He's been down on form the last couple of years, so he'd be looking to switch things up. Brady Hoff's another one on the wing you could probably get. Elijah Hewitt's one who could pinch hit in there. Noah Long could possibly make his way into the midfield. Brockman is a speedy young star who could also pinch hit away from the forwards. So they've got plenty of opportunity and people to swing through the midfield. So there's quite a bit of promise in there. And their forward line is led by Oscar Allen, who had a fantastic year last year. Probably one of the only shining lights consistently for the Eagles. Jack Darling is getting on quite a bit, but with the retirement of Josh Kennedy, he looks to be playing an increased role. Jamie Cripps, Liam Ryan, they offer experience. However, durability is a bit of a question as it is with older age. Petruccelli, Brockman, Waterman, Marich are all people who can swing into the forwards as well and get on the board. Their new number one ruckman, Matt Flynn, could change with Bailey Williams to possibly pinch hit for the tall forwards down there and get on the scoreboard. So as you can see, this list still has plenty of talent of it, many of which are premiership heroes. However, there are still a lot of young players looking to gain experience at AFL level. It's actually quite a hard side to pick, given how much variability they have with those young players. It's all based on form, and that's always a good headache to have as a coach with a young and inexperienced side. The injury curse they have is a whole nother problem. They had a lot of injuries last year, and with the preseason already underway now for 2024, they've had a lot of injuries yet again. A lot of players won't be playing round one. So they'll be looking to find a way to overcome that, because without their experienced players on the field, winning becomes a lot harder, and leaving it up to those young stars is a bit of an unfair task at their stage of their career. So I'm very intrigued to see how the Eagles go in 2024. Can they finally have a decent year with more wins on the board, or will teams once again see them as the easy beats of the AFL? That's all I have. Check out our best 22 video, which will be in the description, for an idea of who we have making their final team. And that'll do it. Join us next time for the final installment of this series as we analyze the Western Bulldogs for season 2024. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.